Welcome back to ModShapes. I'm Alex Steele. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I made my Jupiter lampshade. This is version 1, and later on in the week you'll see version 2. I started out this project with a Thingiverse file. I'll put a link in the description below. I tested out something new. By combining two items in Simplify 3D, I found that I could export the combination of two items and create geometry that I could then take into another application and play with. Which is how I positioned this connector and created the first version of this file. However, there were some flaws with this. The base ring did not connect as well as I hoped it would, and as sometimes happens when you merge two different geometries together, we had a bit of a weak spot. And I was able to take this off the print bed without too much issue. There was also a small flaw with what I think is just an axis issue later on towards the top of the print, but it's okay. I can deal with that. Here's an example of the kind of problems that you get. The inside of this, as you can see, is weak. So in order to make sure that this doesn't break apart, I mixed up a batch of epoxy resin and colored it white. And then I placed it all around the outside and the inside near the crack. And the end result is okay. It's barely noticeable unless you're really looking for it, but I can see the flaw myself. And I'm looking at ways to improve this. Also, it's a bit short. Let me just take a quick second and tell you something important. I don't know who you are really. If you've subscribed, I may be able to see your name if you comment. But whoever you are watching this, you're important. And if there's something going on in your life that makes you question that, reach out to someone that you know you love. Because you're not alone. You're a valuable person, and don't ever forget it. What you're looking at now is a piece of geometry that was exported from Simplify 3D, where I took the bigger size Jupiter that hadn't been sliced, and I got my connector, and I put them together. Now I'm going to create a plane cut. That means I'm going to pull on a 90 degree, and this takes me quite some time, and I apologize in advance. It's just, meshmixer does not let you put in the number. You have to just do it by hand. So this is the point of it. I rotate a 90 degree plane, and then I'm going to pull a cut on that plane. So it's going to slice, and when it does, I'm positioning this in just a way that when it slices the Jupiter geometry, I'll be able to take my other parametrically created solid geometry, push it right up against it, and then do a boolean on it. Probably not a boolean, initially a combination, and then we're going to make it a solid. So here you see me making the cut. Now as soon as I get this lined up just right and I can visually see this going to work for me, I'm going to hit the accept button. Once I do that, the system is going to run, it's going to make the cut. Now the cut is made, and you can see it's fairly straight, right? And what this does is it gives me that 2 inches that I was missing, right? Because now I'll be able to still keep the spherical shape and print on my bed, pushing against the limits of my print bed, guys. So now bring in this simple connector. And as you can see, the geometry for it comes out of Fusion, so it's parametric. Now you can see I've got the original sphere that has been sliced, so these two pieces are together. Now the next step is I'm going to select both of them. I'm going to do a combine. I'm not going to do the Boolean union, I'm just going to do the combine, because the geometry on this just was so big that it was unrealistic, and the processor wasn't handling that Boolean combine, and it actually was crashing the program. So now this is combined into one item. The next step for me is to select that and go into Edit, and we're going to make solid. What that's going to do is there could be 2 or 3 different pieces of geometry coming into something. Now it's going to be considered one. I'm modifying the mesh density to make it as clean as I can, to make it as precise as I can. Then you run an update Once that update is done, then you hit accept. And once you do that, your geometry is then going to be solid. Now, it's not quite done, because the next step that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make sure that the integrity of that device is fine. And I do that by going into meshmixer and doing a inspection, and then finding any holes that may exist and repairing those holes. And you can either repair them one at a time, or you can do generic repair. As you can see, this is now considered one solid geometry. It looks very, very strong. I'm going to go ahead and bring it into Simplify 3D, and as you can see here, it also looks very, very strong. If I were to zoom in on this and go into the Simplify 3D section just like before, you'll see it's not perfect, but it's perfectly workable for this print. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to modify our profile, and we're going to go to the Advanced tab and make sure that we stop printing at around 22 millimeters, which will give us a precise idea of whether or not this joint is going to be perfect. Then we don't have to wait 36 hours, just the 2.5 hours to print this out, and then we'll see the quality. So the results are in, and this looks extremely promising. As you can see, there's really no outward indication of any kind of internal weakness from one perspective, and if you look at the inside, even though the ring does look a little weak in one spot, this is a very powerful print. I'm going to call this good. I'm going to say this is going to be a huge improvement, and I think this is ready for the second big 30-hour print. It might take longer. In fact, let's test and see how long it's going to take. And according to this is going to take about 33 minutes. I'm sorry, no, 33 hours and 39 minutes, which is a massive amount of time to print, but it certainly isn't the biggest thing that I've put through this printer. So, the next video is going to show you the results of this print. I hope to see you then. Until then, take care of yourselves, be compassionate with each other, and remember, whoever you are important. Somebody loves you. Good luck, guys. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you on the next one.